Hi everyone, welcome back to Dream in English. My name is Ms. Morales and I'm your English teacher for this channel. So far, we've talked about the importance of developing our English literacy skills. We have learned a couple of concepts that have helped us understand the grammatical errors we have found within our paragraph. Currently, we are analyzing the first sentence of our paragraph to be able to really understand why such grammatical errors are identified. Within our first sentence, we see that there is some prior knowledge that we needed to have in order to be able to identify these errors. We've talked about words with silent letters and the rules associated with such words. This has helped us develop and understand why whale is spelled W-H-A-L-E as opposed to W-A-L-E. In the last video, we talked about the comparative and superlative adjectives, and this has helped us understand why biggest is spelled B-I-G-G-E-S-T and not B-I-G-E-S-T as is found in our paragraph. In this video, we're going to be talking about common and proper nouns. This is going to help us understand and identify why earth is misspelled and why we need to capitalize the first letter of the word within earth. Okay, let's get started. So first, let's review what is a noun. A noun names a person, place, or thing, or an idea. Some examples could be your name, a place you like to go, such as maybe your favorite restaurant, an animal you like. Animal, yes. Within the context of a noun, animals are considered things. We also think about ideas being emotions, concepts, theories that we learn. Now, ideas within the context of a noun are considered to be abstract. They're things that we cannot see. If you're unfamiliar with abstract nouns and would like for me to review abstract nouns in a video, please let me know by leaving a comment down below. Okay, so let's learn how we can differentiate between a common and proper noun. First, let's start by looking and defining what is a proper noun and what is a common noun. Okay, let's start by defining what a proper noun is. A proper noun names a specific person, place, thing, or idea. For example, if I were to say I live in a big city, would you be able to name the city I live in? No. That is because city is a general term. It is a common noun. Whereas if I were to say I live in Toronto, Toronto is a specific place in Canada. So when we talk about a proper noun, we are talking about very specific things, something that we can identify for its uniqueness. When we want to write proper nouns, we always capitalize the first letter of the word. When we talk about common nouns, we are talking about general things. We are not naming anything in particular. This could be any person, any place, anything, any idea. When we write common nouns, we don't capitalize the first letter of the word unless the common noun is at the start of a sentence. So some very important things to keep in mind when we're looking at proper nouns is that whenever a proper noun is comprised of more than one word, every word within that noun is capitalized. We always capitalize months and days as well as holidays. These are always proper nouns. Okay guys, let's look at some examples that are going to help us develop our ability to differentiate between the two. Let's look at our first sentence. The girl missed her bus. In this sentence, girl is a general term. We're not naming anyone in particular, we're just stating that it is a girl. Whereas if we were to write Stacy missed her bus, we are talking about someone in particular. We're talking about a specific person, in this case, Stacy. As you can see in our chart, girl and boy are both common nouns. They're general terms that we use when we want to identify someone according to their gender. Now, if we wanted to name a specific person, we would call them by their given name. For a girl, it could be Stacy or Julie. For a boy, it could be Doug or Robert or any name associated with a girl we're talking about or a boy we're talking about. Who is your favorite author? Author is a general term that allows us to think about any author of any book. Where if I were to say my favorite author is Jan Martel, I'm talking about a specific author related to maybe a series of books that he has written. In this case, Jan Martel is the author of Life of Pi. I highly recommend this book. It is a good read. It also is written in simple English that is going to help you develop an appreciation for reading. We can name any author that we would like, but if we are writing it in a sentence, we would ensure that we capitalize the first letter of that author's name. In the case of J.K. Rowling, as you can see, the J, the K, and the R are all capitalized. This is because the J and K are abbreviations that she has chosen for her name. I am looking for an English teacher. If I were to talk to you and tell you I'm looking for an English teacher, you will start to think about all the English teachers that you know. Teacher being a general term for any teacher. If I wanted to name a specific teacher, I would use their name. For example, Ms. Morales is a great English teacher, if I must say so myself. In this case, teacher is the general term, whereas naming a specific teacher is the proper noun. Who is your favorite singer? Now, singer is anybody who sings. But as you know, there are some famous singers. So when I'm asking you who is your favorite singer, you could start to think about any singer that you know. However, when you want to answer the question, you would be giving a specific answer, giving a proper noun. I really like the music by Adele. Adele being a specific singer, where we capitalize the first letter of the name. You could also say Beyonce or Drake or any singer that you like. I've just named a couple that I personally like. Who's your favorite singer? Let me know. Which country do you live in? You could live anywhere in the world. So when I ask which country do you live in, you're automatically going to think of the country that you're currently living in. So country is a general term. It is a common noun. I live in Canada. Canada is a specific country. I live in Canada. What country do you live in? Let me know. I'd love to hear where you guys live and anything you'd like to share. Here are some examples of proper nouns, naming specific countries. USA, Mexico, the UK, the Netherlands, anywhere in the world. Any country, when we're referring to a specific place, will always be capitalized. Let's look at our next sentence. She moved to a new city. City is a general term. It could be any city. She moved to Toronto. Toronto is a specific place, a specific city, making it a proper noun. When we look at places, cities are always capitalized when we are referring to a specific place. So if I were to ask you, what city do you live in? And you wanted to respond, you would ensure that you capitalize the first letter of the city name. Let's go to a coffee shop later. If I were to be talking to a friend and say, let's go to a coffee shop later, I'm leaving the conversation open for suggestions. You can suggest a place that you would like to go because I haven't named a specific place. Coffee shop is a general place. Whereas if I were to say, let's go to Starbucks later, I'm naming a specific place. There is no discussion to be made. I'm making that suggestion of a specific place to go. Let's go to Starbucks later. But if I were to say, let's go to a coffee shop later, really, you could answer with any specific place. Starbucks, McCafe, Second Cup, your local coffee shop that you really enjoy. Because now when we're talking about getting specific, we're just naming a place. What is the biggest animal on the planet? Okay, what is the biggest animal on the planet? Planet is a general term. As you're familiar, we have several planets in our solar system. However, is there really life on another planet for us to associate the sentence with anything other than Earth? That's up for discussion. In this case, the blue whale is the biggest animal on Earth. So planet is a general term. However, because we're talking about life on a planet, we know that we're talking about Earth. I know, it's a little bit confusing, but depending on how we're using that common noun, sometimes we can guess the specific thing that we're referring to. In this case, the planet that we're talking about is Earth. So within our first sentence of our paragraph that we're identifying grammatical errors, Earth is misspelled because we're talking about a specific place. Earth is a specific planet. It names a specific thing. I love chocolate. What chocolate do I love? When we're talking about something in general, we could really put the name of any specific product within our response. So in this case, I love Godiva chocolates. I could also say, I love Hershey chocolates, or I love Cadbury chocolates. When we're talking about something in particular, we are naming a particular thing. I need a new automobile. Am I mentioning what automobile I need? No, I just need, in general terms, a new car. Now I can answer or respond or say, I want to buy a BMW. Now this is a specific automobile that I want because, as I mentioned, I need a new car. Birds are my favorite animals. Birds being a general term encompassing all types of birds. Now, when we talk about specific breeds of an animal, this could kind of get a little confusing because we might not be familiar with all the breeds of a given animal. In this case, I own a parrot. Parrots are a specific breed of birds, birds being the general term, parrot being a specific breed. I could also say, I own a lovebird, I own a robin. Any name of a specific breed of a bird would be a proper noun. I'm learning a new language. What language are you learning? If we could question who, what you're talking about, chances are that is a common noun. When it answers those questions, we know we're talking about a proper noun. There's no question about who, what, where we're talking about because we are clearly stating it. So, I am learning English. It is clear the language that I'm learning. This is also something that we should keep note of. Whenever we're writing any particular language, Whenever we're writing the name of any particular language, we always capitalize the first letter. For example, what language do you speak? Your answer would require you to capitalize the first letter of the language name. Okay guys, let's kind of dive in a little bit more in how to identify common and proper nouns within sentences. Let's look at some examples. We saw a show about insects. Show and insects are both nouns. However, what show? About which insects? Because we could question what it is that we're talking about, these are common nouns. Jane lives in Toronto. Jane and Toronto are both nouns, and at the same time, they're proper nouns. Jane being the person, lives in Toronto being a place. There's no question of who or where. In this case, we're able to identify both Jane and Toronto as proper nouns. I've just read a play by Shakespeare. Play and Shakespeare both being nouns. Which play? By who? Well, we don't know what play it is because we're still questioning which play. This makes it a common noun. By who? Shakespeare. The answer is given. Shakespeare being the name of the playwriter. Shakespeare being a proper noun. So to review, a proper noun has two distinctive features. One, it names a specific person, place, thing, or idea. It also requires a capital letter at the start of the word. If a proper noun has more than one word associated with it, each word is capitalized at the start of the word. Days, months, and holidays are all proper nouns and require the first letter to be capitalized. Okay, we could check off our third point in our grammatical error box. So now we have learned about common and proper nouns, we're able to really understand why earth was misspelled, and it requires a capital letter at the start of the word. As always, guys, I leave you with some practice. Take the time to review the lesson to really understand when to use a capital and when not to capitalize a noun. I find that a lot of students often get mixed up when it comes to writing proper nouns. A good way to remember is if you could question it, who are you talking about, or what, or where, and we can't put a specific name to it, it's a common noun. We don't capitalize the word unless it comes at the start of a sentence. And if it answers those questions for us, then it is a proper noun, requiring a capital letter at the start of that given name, place, thing, whatever it is that we're talking about. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.